Let's go get my shirt straightened out. Here we are, Soul Not For Sale podcast, episode 587. Bit of a somber note in my voice, although it shouldn't be because I don't think this is going to slow him down. It's not going to stop him, but it doesn't look good. They're trying to take Trump off the ballot. They're trying to file a lawsuit with some unknown voters who are apparently Republicans. But of course, unknown. These people will not be brought into public view whatsoever. They exist. That's all we need to know. There's a lawsuit being filed, and it smells a little fishy to me. Now, I haven't done this in a very long time, which is sit down and watch a back and forth between someone on MSNBC and the government, the Democratic government. And this stuff plays like a Black Mirror episode. It is so agency talking points. It's so inauthentic, from the looks in their eyes to the questions that they ask to the way that they respond to each other. It's so on the same team. I wouldn't even be surprised if they were in the same studio. It's ridiculous. Now, we're going to get into what I'm talking about. I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to interrupt from time to time. There's 3 clips to this video. I didn't want to play the whole thing because MSNBC, there's only so much I can put up with on my laptop here. But I'm going to be playing 3 clips, and then I'm going to be showing you a little bit about the company that is filing this lawsuit. Very, very interesting company. And then we're going to get into, I'd like to go a little deeper. I look into the actual company. Looks a little fishy. Not really fishy like it's not on the up and up. It is. It's been around for a long time. But then we go into who's funding this company. And that's pretty interesting. Before I do all that, though, of course, I have to bring you to the store, the IamCoachColin.com website. Showing you the first shirt, very fitting. This is the shirt that I have on, the black and white version. This is the presidential mugshot, the man, the myth, the legend, the shot heard around the world, the infamous mugshot. Get yours now. We also have the certified pure blood shirt. For those of you that survived the pandemic, unscathed and untainted, get your certificate of achievement ASAP right now. And we have, of course, the most fitting, the Public Enemy #1 shirt, a personal favorite of mine. I got to make one of these for Gates, I think. Maybe not Public Enemy #1, but maybe something else. I got a couple things in mind for that man. But if you want to know about this man, Google the World Economic Forum. Google You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy. Google Agenda 2030. You'll understand quickly why I've branded this man Public Enemy #1. All of that's available on IamCoachColin.com. And if you would like 10% off, you can have it. No problem. Put in the discount code I am Coach Colin. All capital letters, all one word, 1 L in the name Colin, and that gets you 10% off. And if you've done that with us already, thank you so much. Boom. Trump 2024. Let's get into this video. Ugh, yuck. All right, let's go. I've never heard of this guy. Let's go.
There is a legal theory arguing that Donald Trump is constitutionally disqualified from running for president on grounds that it would violate the 14th Amendment. It's based on a little-known provision that bars people who have engaged in an insurrection from holding government office. It isn't just legal scholars kicking this theory around, but also elected officials, like Colorado's Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, who told Politico there have been conversations among other secretaries as well. The issue has intensified in Griswold's state, where the group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington filed a lawsuit on behalf of the 6 voters, 4 Republicans and 2 unaffiliated, seeking to remove Trump from the ballot in that state because of his role in the insurrection on January 6th.
So just remember that name there that's on the screen. That's what we're going to be diving into a little bit, just seeing who those people are.
Joining me now is Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, who also chairs the Democratic Association of Secretaries of State. Secretary Griswold, thank you.
So, the first things first. So, those are the people that are filing this lawsuit. Again, this whole thing reads like a Black Mirror episode, especially this lady here. This lady right here. So interesting. Just look at her. Nothing wrong with her, pretty lady. It just gives me this this Black Mirror feel, like things just aren't quite right. Let's look into that company real quick. Let me just pull them up here. That company, that organization. Now, when you go to this organization, the first thing you're going to see, boom, this is the first thing that pops up on their website, which is crew is suing to enforce Trump's disqualification. This is the first thing that pops up. This is not even like, square one, before square one even. Then the first thing they have here, of course, is Donald Trump. Very nice picture of Trump, by the way. Shout out to them for finding such a nice picture of Trump. That's a great one. I should use that as a thumbnail. And then right away, lawsuit filed to remove Trump from the ballot in CO under the 14th Amendment. Now, I wanted to go into this website a little bit. I was like, who are these people? So I decided to go to their reports and investigations section. I was like, okay, so they do things like this all the time. I'm like, let's see who else they look into. Trump. Oh, okay, not Trump. Okay, perfect. But it still has to do with Trump's situation. Not Trump again. That's page 1. Let's go to page 2 real quick. Do they do anything else other than just try to find dirt on Trump? Oh, Trump. There we go. Trump again. This is not Trump, but it's under the same exact thing, talking about the disqualification. So they're trying to give that more validity. Trump again. Not Trump. Then Mike Pence. Basically, every 5 articles, you'll see at least 2 that are about Trump. It's nuts. Trump, there you go. Trump again. Trump again. Trump again. Like this, they literally just focus on Trump. Now, let's go back to the MSNBC clip. Let's hear from this lady what she has to say. And, let's hear him out, because why not? Let's go. Bring this over here. Let's hear them out. Let's hear what they have to say.
Is a lawsuit alleging that Donald Trump is disqualified from the Colorado ballot for inciting the insurrection and trying to steal the election in 2020 from the American people. Now, this is a somewhat novel issue, but there is a provision of the Constitution, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, that clearly states that when someone swears to uphold the Constitution, they are disqualified from office if they engage in insurrection or rebellion or comfort or aid the enemies of the Constitution. So the lawsuit is based on that provision. There is a lot of questions of exactly how that provision works. And that's why I'm so glad to see, honestly, a lawsuit filed, because a court needs to weigh in.
So you notice the language that they're using. It's insurrection. And you know what this really clued me into as they're doing this? Because this is not, a lot of people have this idea that they're taking advantage of certain situations that are just popping up. And that's how this whole game is played. I think a little differently. I think they've been thinking about this way in advance. Just so you know, this crew organization, the first day Trump was in office, they filed a lawsuit against him. The first day. They tried to file something beforehand, before he was even president, but as soon as he won, they filed a lawsuit. They've been trying to file lawsuits against him throughout his whole run as president. After he was done as president, still doing the same thing. Now that he's running again, they're doing this again. Now they're actually trying to get him taken off the ballot. The language of the insurrection. Now, this really opens my eyes, because I've been doing some videos. I've done a bunch of videos with Tucker Carlson, Stephen A. Sund, the former police chief of the Capitol. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that Stephen A. Sund wanted he wanted the National Guard at the Capitol right away. Right away, from say 12:30 p.m. As soon as everything started, he wanted the National Guard there. He knew he needed them. He put in requests. He tried to go up the chain. Somebody had to ask Nancy Pelosi. They were all waiting. They didn't like the optics. They were thinking about it. Up until about 2 p.m., 2:10 p.m., 2:11 p.m. is when he got approved to have the Capitol Guard there. Great. So now he's trying to get them. He gives eyewitness testimony that he himself can see them. He can see the Capitol Guard from where he is. So you could go to a certain spot in the Capitol, see the National Guard. He's like, I need those men. They say no, take those men, put them in trucks and bring them somewhere else, far away. This is 210. He doesn't get his National Guard there until 6 p.m. when everything's died down a lot, pretty much stopped. 6 p.m. So for 6 hours, he wanted the National Guard. If he had gotten the approval and gotten the gentleman that he can see, that he can actually see, if they had got there right away, they wouldn't be able to call this an insurrection. Because those men who went in the Capitol, doesn't matter how much Ray Epps or anybody else screamed into the Capitol, doesn't matter. If the National Guard was there, all of that would have been stopped. There would have been none of that. Whether it was forceful entry, whether it was, people actually showing protesters around, opening doors for them, none of it would have happened. Because the National Guard would have stood their ground and been like, you're not going through us. We're the National Guard. What do you think's going on right now? They would have been more than equipped. Especially just authority-wise and weapon-wise. They would have been more than equipped to just back every single protester down right away. Then it would have been classified as a protest. Then what's going on right now in these clips that I'm showing you, this wouldn't even be an option. There'd be no, he violated the Constitution, this, that. There'd be none of that going on. So I only say that to say, like, this is not just some people taking advantage of situations. These are people who are thinking far in advance with what they're doing. And as I play these clips for you, there's going to be more proof of that as she keeps speaking. So that was the first clip there. Let's go to the last clip that I have of this. Switch up here. And the whole time, this woman is talking to this gentleman, Reed, whatever his name is. Reed, I assume, because the show's called The Readout. She's reading. Like, if you watch her eyes closely, she's reading something. None of this feels authentic to me. None of this feels real. I mean, it's real in the sense that it's happening, but it feels very scripted. And you can tell she's reading something, which would be fine if she was someone who was of MSNBC, if she was an anchor. I mean, even Tucker Carlson has a teleprompter when he reads his scripts. But she's supposed to just be someone who's in the government telling you about a situation. Somehow she has it written out. I doubt she's the one who wrote it out. So it makes me really question where she's even getting these talking points from. I'll be honest. But then let's dive into Crew after this. We'll dive into what Crew is and who they're financed by. Let's go.
The bigger picture is that this litigation, this lawsuit may play out over various parts of the presidential election. And for your viewers, just know that this may not be resolved before the primary. This lawsuit may be brought again if Trump is the nominee. It may be brought again if he wins the presidential election. But no, this is just one lever, one variable that will affect the 2024 election. And what gives me a lot of hope.
I just want to stop really quick. So she just said, she basically just said, this is not going to stop. We are going, if he gets past it in this point, we will bring it up again. If he gets elected, we will bring it up again. We will not stop. And then she also says, this is something that's going to affect the election. Now, I'm not going to say interference, but she kind of just did. I'm not saying it, but I feel like she just did. This is something that's going to affect the election. I don't know. There's only a few seconds left of the clip. Let's just play the rest of it. Hear her out, of course.
Through all of this situation, the attack on democracy, is that Americans themselves will have the opportunity to choose between democracy and chaos yet again. And they have been deciding to choose democracy over and over and over in recent times.
That's very true. That's very true. Like the time that Trump got elected president, they chose democracy. But you notice the language. Did I actually? Oh, I don't actually think I got to play the clip for you here. Let me switch. No, I did already. But this woman, she's calling Trump a liar. She's making sure, because you got to remember who's watching this, right? Like, this is public opinion. She's swaying public opinion. She's looking into this camera with these gigantic eyes saying Trump is a liar. He stole the election from the American people, which is not true. If an election gets stolen, it gets stolen from the other party, period. I mean, you can say the American people if you're trying to play it up, but if one side steals the election from the other side, you really stole it from the Democrats, which is not what happened. But I'm just saying, it's one side versus the other. but she's framing it like it's the American people who lost out, or potentially lost out, if Trump were to get elected again. Which, looking at the state of things, is that true? Like, did the people not lose out with what they have going on right now? I don't know. Arguable. I'm sure everybody has a different experience. But now let's look into this crew thing here. So I already showed you the reports. Just so you know who they are, let's go to the About section quickly, just real quick. And then we'll jump over to the funding. So basically, at Crew, we use aggressive legal actions, in-depth investigations, and innovative policy and reform to work to achieve that vision. That vision is America deserves a government that is ethical, accountable, and open. Sounds great. We take on big fights against powerful opponents, from the president of the United States to wealthy dark money donors. Despite long odds, we continue to have victories, large and small, all thanks to, let me make sure you guys can see that, sorry. All thanks to our innovative legal strategies and unrelenting dedication. Even on the About section, they got Donald Trump. Wow, the About section is something that usually doesn't change. They've made sure to include Trump even in the About section. I didn't even see this. Oh, they're even saying exactly what I said. On Donald Trump's first day in the Oval Office, Crew sued him for violating the emoluments clauses of the U.S. Constitution because of unconstitutional corruption that would result from his refusal to divest from his business interests. Okay. So right away, they made sure. They're like, okay, you're a businessman. Perfect. And keep in mind, if Vivek ends up winning, which is a long shot, they'll do the same thing to him. Or maybe they won't, because Trump gets special treatment. Now, let's go on to Influence Watch. Found this. This is a website that can look into organizations and tell you who they're funded by, who the president and CEOs are, can give you their business numbers, can give you their revenue, everything that you would want to know about an organization. So this is Crew, Citizens for Responsible Ethics in Washington, Crew. So it says a little bit about who they are, which is exactly what we went over. Their website, location, Washington, D.C., type, legal advocacy, formation, 02, president, CEO, Noah Bookbinder, their business number here, revenue, looks like it's 7.6 million, budget, or no, their budget. Oh yeah, budget, revenue, okay, expenses, 5.2 million, assets, 10 million. That's interesting. Let's just go to this last part here, part that I found very interesting. The organization has been recognized as having played instrumental roles in building stronger and more integrated progressive infrastructure by the Democracy Alliance. Crew has received funding from center-of-left foundations, including philanthropist George Soros, Open Society Foundations, and Barbara Streisand's foundation. How about that? Go ahead with your bad selves. Being funded by George Soros. Okay, cool. Just wanted to check. That's all I wanted to know. I'm like, who's funding these people? Because they really have it in for Trump. Really, really have it in for Trump. With everything that's going on in the government, claiming that you're trying to have everything be open and accountable. Like, you would think they would have like a whole page dedicated to insider trading, because that's something you can actually watch. You can actually watch in real time what every senator, representative, Pelosi is investing into, taking money out of, making money on. You could do that in real time. But they have none of that. Everything on Trump. Just find that a little interesting. Like the video if you haven't liked it already. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And let me know what you think about this Crew organization being funded by George Soros and actively trying to get Donald Trump taken off the ballot. I don't know. Seems a little bit, seems like it makes sense to me, you know? Maybe a few years ago, I'd be like, that is absolutely shocking. Nowadays, especially with Trump and everything that's going on, Makes a lot of sense. Guys, I'm going to call it right there. There's not much else to look into. Keep your eyes open. Figure out if your state is trying to implement anything like this and let them hear your voice. And other than that, I am out.